Will it survive?
Illustrations by Pete.
So many of you are familiar with this handbook travelogue thing. It's a decent book, but there's like 95-pound paper in here, or 98-pound paper, I forget what it is. But this is the Handbook Watercolor Field Journal. That's what the front cover looks like. There's a little thing. I always tape it in the back so I remember exactly what I'm using here. So this uses fluid watercolor paper, not Fluid 100. I've used that in the past. I like that paper. It works very well. And it's just, you have to use it the way that it was intended to be used. It holds on to the color. It doesn't move a lot. It kind of sucks it into the paper and it stays put. And that's how you have to use it. And it works great. This is different paper. This used to be one of my favorite books. I bought another one because I liked it so much. I've talked about it several times here on the channel. It's just, I liked this book, or at least I thought I did. But now I don't know what happened here. I did multiple paintings in here, multiple abstract paintings. I wanted to just put it to the test and see what it could do. I don't know if you can see how soft that color blended in this particular piece. And aside from the weird creatures down there, see how soft that watercolor is? See how well it blended and how nice and spread out it is and even it is? That did not happen in this particular case. You know, I know watercolor sizing can go bad on paper. If you have it in the wrong kind of climate or temperature, or maybe I didn't know I took this book anywhere weird. It's been with all my other stuff. That stuff works fine. But it changed, the paper has changed how it works. That could be a negative, but I used it as a positive because of what I'm doing. So the first one, not so much. The first one, I just wanted to see what happened. I'll explain that as I do it. The second one, I just used the unevenness to my advantage and put in extra details where there was some unevenness. There's also some things I'm going to talk about in the video that I wanted to address. I know I've been putting up shorts, and I don't know if that annoys you. Some people it does annoy. They see it and they're like, oh, and it's again, I've already seen this video, and now you made a short from it, and now I'm looking at it again, and it annoys me. I apologize if that's you. YouTube has told us creators that if we don't do the shorts, then we're not going to be spread to as much of an audience. So you do the shorts, more people see you, and then they come to your channel. And it's proven to be the case, though. I've done several shorts, maybe 4 shorts, 5, 6, 7 shorts now. Every time I put one out, I get a new subscriber from the short. They look at it, they watch it, they go to the channel, they click on it, it takes them to the original video that it was cut from. That's what I'm told. I don't know if it actually works, but that's what I'm told. And then they become a subscriber. So I'm going to do them. Ignore them if you want to ignore them. If you don't like them, I understand it. I'm not a shorts person myself. Most of the shorts out there are terrible. I'm trying to make them a little entertaining and just pulling like a small phrase or something funny and just putting that up in the short. But if you don't like it, don't worry about it. Just keep going. Alright, let's get into this. Okay, so this first one, I've done these before. I love doing these. These are one of my favorite things to do. So I soaked the whole page down. It should have been fine. There was a little bit of paint in it. You can see up on the left-hand side there, but that's okay. So, but I thought everything was okay, and I started to put the watercolor on, and all of a sudden, it looked like the paper was falling apart. It looked like it was coming apart at these seams. I didn't know what was happening. So I went ahead, and the second thing I did was put in some watercolor marker, and that's what I wanted to use for it. And because watercolor marker does destroy paper, so I thought I saw a weakness. I was going to exploit it and try and just destroy the whole paper. But it ended up holding up to the marker. So it's not that the paper's falling apart. It's just that there was this weird texture on the paper. I have no idea what that was or what happened. It's a very strange thing. It seems like, almost like I was using a different kind of watercolor. It was not watercolor. It almost looks how it looked when I put the watercolor on that Stonehenge oil paper with those little fibers that stick up. Only there's no fibers on this paper, so I don't know what that dirty look is. It looks dirty. It looks like the paper's falling apart like it's pilling. It's not. It's fine. It's just smooth. but it just didn't take the color well. It was very spotty. So then I finished it out the way that I wanted to finish this out, and I was very happy with this. I put some gouache on there, put a little bit of the white gel pen on there, and it came out pretty well. I enjoy how it came out. I like the way that it looked in the end as far as the whole piece, but it still looks dirty. I don't know what that is. The second drawing, painting thing, it was uneven. I didn't soak the whole page and do that whole thing. I just put down color in a certain spot and just kept going. But it still looked very streaky and uneven, and just, it wasn't good. It wasn't uniform the whole way through. So I don't know. I used that to my advantage in the second one. Wherever I saw those uneven patches and parts, I put some hash marks on there and kind of made it the texture of the form of the piece that I was doing. So it worked out just fine. That's probably how I'm going to have to use the rest of this book. I don't have very many pages left in this book, and I wanted to finish it out because I started it so long ago, and I just wanted to finish the book and just be done and have another book to do another flip through and that kind of stuff. It'd be a fun video, but so that's how I'm going to have to use this from now on. There's no way around it. Something has happened to the paper. It doesn't work the way it first worked when I first got it. And it must be that the sizing in the paper went bad or did something. And it can happen. If you keep watercolor paper in the right conditions, it'll last forever. But this must have been in the wrong spot or the wrong place at the wrong time. I don't know. And something happened to it. And that's okay. I didn't know that was happening, or else I would have done something about it. But I'm just not going to be able to use this the way that I wanted to use this going forward. That's okay. I'll just use it a different way. Here's the thing with any kind of supplies that you have. It doesn't, people say, oh, it doesn't work the way that I work. Experiment a little bit. How about you work the way that that's supposed to work? And see if you can get along with it. See if you can do something with it. It's not how I normally work, but I will do that and use it the way that it works the best so that I can get some kind of result out of it and not waste a book of paper. I don't like wasting things at all, especially watercolor paper. That really irritates me. And that's the thing I think I like the most about, my favorite supply, I should say, about watercolor. I love the paper. I love all the different papers and books and sketchbooks, and that's my thing. I love that. So I don't want to waste it. I don't want to throw it away. So I'll just use it the way that it needs to be used, and everything will be fine. Okay, now what I would like to do is, in the near future, instead of doing a live stream right away, I've got to figure that out yet. Some things are a little off, and Christy has actually offered to help me with that. I appreciate that, Christy. I will definitely take you up on the offer when I'm ready to do that. But what I will do is, I would like to do one of those premieres where you set up the video to play at a certain time, and it's also the same time that I would be watching the video with you, so we can chat back and forth live there. It's not going to be like a live stream where you're actually talking to me and you're actually seeing me answer your questions, but at least we can have a little chat, watch the video at the same time, maybe share a laugh of the dumbness that I do sometimes. It's funny stuff. Anyway, so I would like to do that. Please let me know if you'd like to be interested in that. I would like to... Now, here's the thing with this thing. So there's someone who did some research, and they found out that 15 minutes before the live stream, YouTube pushes it out to a large number of people. And what else they've figured out is that if you then reschedule, if you push it out another hour, or push it out 15 minutes more, rather, they'll push it out to a bunch more people and push it out for another 15 minutes. They'll push it out. It's right the 15 minutes right before it goes live. That's when they push it. So if I may like set it up for 10 o'clock. If you see the premiere at all, if you see, okay, there's going to be a premiere, means I'm going to watch it with you. It's going to be this day, probably on a Saturday or a Sunday, probably on the weekend, probably on a Saturday, most likely. And like around 10 o'clock, you'll see it set up. I'm really gonna go live at 11. I'm gonna wait till those 15 minutes come down. I'm gonna push it out another 15 minutes and do that till 11 o'clock, and then I'll do that at 11. I might put a little note in there that says, even says goes live at 11, even though its premieres set for 10. just so you know what's happening. I want to see if that works. I want to see if all of a sudden they push it out more and push it out more, and then all of a sudden there's a lot more people on that are viewing the video when it goes live. That'll be fun. Then people can interact. I believe we can talk to... I don't know how this works. I'm new at everything. I don't know how anything actually functions in life. But I'm going to try it, and we'll see together. This is an experiment. We'll see how this works. I don't know when it's going to happen. You'll probably see this video a couple of weeks after I'm already talking about this, so I'm trying to figure out how to do it. And it'll probably be a couple of weeks after this that I actually try and do it and put one out. I'm probably going to do like a weekend, probably those times, Eastern Standard Time. I'll set it up for 10, probably go live at 11, and we'll see how that works. And we can watch it together, and if you'd like to make fun of what I'm doing, we can laugh together. I don't have a problem with that. I am fully capable of laughing at myself. I have to do that on a daily basis, or I'm going to put my head through a wall. So it's okay. That's how people function. You have to be able to laugh at yourself. You have to be able to say, look, I did something stupid, and just have fun. Life is everybody's so friggin' serious, and they make it so complicated. Just have fun, and if you do something stupid, I know you feel stupid and embarrassed. Don't worry about it. You've done something dumb, and now you're going to laugh at it with everybody else, and you can either try to not do it next time, or you can just be known for doing that dumb thing. Whatever the case is, either way you can work it to your advantage. It's not a big deal. Okay, so when you're kids, you hear all these weird things. Oh, do this, and this happens, and do that, and this. Here's what I want to tell you to do, because this will work. So at night, go into any room with a mirror. It's usually the bathroom is the easiest because it's a small area. You won't hurt yourself. So go into a bathroom or something and stare at the mirror. Make sure it's pitch black in there. It has to be at night, pitch black. Face the mirror. You're going to close your eyes and spin around 20 times. And the whole time you're going to whisper, "Illustrations by Pete, illustrations by Pete." Just do that. And after about 20 spins, you face the mirror, you open your eyes. I'll be in the mirror painting an abstract painting on it from the other side. Try it. It works. I've tested this. This works. It's scientifically proven to happen. Just give it a shot and let me know what your results are. Let me know what I was painting, what I was doing, what I said to you, and get back to me on that. So I'm going to share a dumb little story with you. We have an insurance plan where we need to do certain things or we pay double for some reason. So you have to do whatever they tell you to do. Sometimes it's like, oh, you have to take this exercise class, or you have to get screened for certain things and you have to talk to a psychiatrist. That was one of them. No, not a psychiatrist, a psychologist. Those are two very different things. One gives you drugs to trick your mind into thinking everything is okay, and the other one uses verbal trickery to blame everything on your childhood, and then uses that to trick you into thinking everything is okay. Those are two very different things. So I don't think the psychologist that I spoke to, I don't think that they understood the rules. See, they're supposed to ask me a question about whatever, and they were talking to me about being isolated, and they said, okay, you're isolated. How's that affecting your mood and your habits, and how do you feel about it? And I just explained to them that it was more like a vacation from having to be around people who make me feel uncomfortable anyway. So for me, I'm not saying that I'm antisocial by any means, but if I talk to you this week and I already know what's going on with you, then unless something changes drastically, I'm good for like a month. I don't need to talk to you again and say the same thing over. Whoa, you're still doing the same thing? I didn't need to talk to you about that. We're good for a while. So when it comes to seeing family and friends, I'll try to see them or talk to them once a week if I can. But sometimes there's too many people. There's too many people that I know that are in my family. I can't talk to everybody. I'd just be on the phone constantly or at someone's house constantly. I don't want to do that. So you can't do that. So once a week is already like borderline for me. I don't require that much interaction. I have a wife who I love her company every day, and I talk to her all the time. You want me to tell the whole story all over again to someone else? I just told it to her. We talk about our day and everything that's going on, and now I gotta say it again to someone else. It's just a weird... I don't have time for that. That's a whole lot of explaining to a lot of different people. So it's just a hi, how you doing, a quick text. Some people don't get it. You send a text and then they want to have like a full texting conversation, and they text you like 400 times. You're just like, oh no, I just wanted the one thing. We're done here. So the professional then asked me how I felt about this whole isolation thing and how I felt about what I already told them. Like I said, okay, this is just, this was fine for me. I was okay. Well, then how do you feel about that? That's not how this game works. You ask a question, I answer it, and then you provide some kind of insight. And then you can ask another question on top of that to go deeper. I get that, but you have to provide some insight. It has to be give and take. So she said, do you think this is a game? And I said, yes, and you're playing it wrong. I'm answering the questions and providing the insight. You aren't even holding up your end. I'm basically just talking to myself, which I could do somewhere else. And that would then drive me crazy, which is ironically what I need the insurance for. So this is futile. This is a ridiculous conversation. We should not be having it if you're not going to hold up your end. You can't cause the problem and think that I have to pay you for the solution. It works out good for you, but it doesn't save me any money. I don't even know what we accomplished during that session or how it ended. I spent the next 3 days talking to myself and asking myself how I felt about it. It's like she screwed up my rhythm. That's why I'm talking to a camera alone in a room. It helps me level out a little bit and unburden myself. I do that to you. It's easier than talking to someone else who isn't going to help me at all. At least you interact with me, and there's comments down below, and you say, oh yeah, this, and I saw this, and I heard this, and I agree with this, and I disagree with this. You interact. You listen and then provide some insight, even if you're going to ask another question. That's how this is supposed to work. You should be paid for what you're doing watching this video, and not someone who isn't going to help at all and just ask people more questions and tell them to give themselves their own insights. It does not how it works. So getting back to these two paintings, they were good, and I enjoyed them, and they were fun. It's always fun. I love art. I don't care if I have to throw the damn thing away when I'm done. I love art. I love to just have fun with it, and when it looks like absolute trash and nothing like I wanted it to look like, I still had fun doing it. You have to put on that mindset that it doesn't matter what the outcome is. Have fun with art. It needs to be fun. If it's just monotonous all the time, I hear artists a lot of time. Now, these are some professional artists that have to do this for their job, or it's their career, or whatever the case is. And they say things like, oh, well, art isn't always fun. You just have to do it sometimes. You just have to do it even when it's not inspiring, when it's not fun. And I get they have to meet deadlines and stuff like that. But if you're doing art and it's not fun, you're doing it wrong. You're not doing it right. It's always fun. Even when there's some stress involved, even when you have to do something that you're uncomfortable doing, if you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong. Always approach the art piece you're doing as if it's fun. You're going to enjoy yourself. You're going to have fun. Who cares if you screw it up? You throw it away, you start again. If you miss the deadline, they won't hire you again. That's just how that works. That's a part of life. But you can still have fun. You can still, wow, this piece sucked. I can't believe how much it sucked. But I had fun doing it. And that's always how I approach art. It doesn't matter what's going on. So that's one way I stop from being discouraged with art. I don't get discouraged with myself because I'm always having fun. It's always an enjoyable experience. I always know, okay, this is good. For me, in this particular instance, I'm saying, okay, this is going to be a video. I'm going to talk to people about stuff. We're going to have some fun and some interaction. I don't care how these turn out. They could turn out like crap. They could turn out like garbage. We're just going to talk about it. That's going to be fun either way. We're going to talk about it. Either we're going to laugh at how crappy it is, or we'll say, oh, it's good and we like it. Whatever the case is, you have to do that. If you don't do it, then you're doing it wrong. So thumbs up the video if you think you should be paid as a watcher on YouTube instead of the people who are actually creating the videos, because you're actually allowing them to unburden themselves to you and you're being entertained by them, but you're really the support group for them, so you should be paid for that. I'm not going to pay you, but I appreciate that you're doing this pro bono. So anyway, that's about it for me. I'm going to go, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.